And welcome again, everyone, to the next episode of the Foally of Man after kind of a week.
More like 2 weeks.
Well, it was a week extra.
Okay. Oh, it's the Foally of Man extra.
No.
You're so extra.
God.
Are we going to get into this?
No.
Okay.
We're going to get into the other thing. We're going to get into the chapter. Hello.
Who are you?
Holy moly, somebody just popped in. My name is Chris. I'm here today.
Robert! And welcome to the next episode of the Foally of Man, episode 39, where we cover chapter 38 in the fan fiction, Fallout Equestria, written by kkat.
We're going to be doing it a little differently. We're going back to the live stream for this one.
Well, basically because we've procrastinated and we don't want to make y'all wait till Wednesday.
We were very tired last week.
That being said, as you see these microphones that you can't hear on the camera there, a high-quality version of the episode will still be available on the podcast. If so,
just
please...
a little later.
I was going to say, download the podcast at thefollyman.libsyn.com. You can find us on Google Play or the iTunes Music Store.
And do the credits beforehand like old movies so we can get it out of the way.
Yeah, like Metro Goldwyn Mayer, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Next we'll have a title card that explains what our heroes are doing and why they're here.
So, also, if this is the first time you're tuning in, the crux of this show is Chris here's a Brony, and I still, after 30...
Spoilers.
Oh, did I ruin the ending?
After 30?
No. 39 episodes.
I thought you were going to go over 30 years.
No,
like, you're not even 30 years old.
No. After 39 episodes, I'm still not a Brony. I mean, like, I respect y'all. Like, I get it.
But you're
I'm
not
enjoying the story.
This is not episodes of the show, obviously. This is episodes of our podcast through the chapters, if anyone
through 38 chapters. All right, so basically, we ended chapter 37 finally getting out of Canterlot.
With a bang of sorts. With a bang of them hitting the ground.
Bang, pink goo, drowning, everybody's dying. Is Velvet Remedy breathing? Tune in next time.
Yes.
Something to that effect.
Argyle.
Nash and his men head for Capone's hideout.
So, chapter 38, Peace in Our Time. Which I believe...
Neville Chamberlain.
Yeah. You talked about before.
About Hitler.
Be good, or I'll shoot you dead.
That's what a way to start.
Actually, that was one of the that was actually one of the dropped scenes from Anastasia. Very, very fantastic.
Great. Jesus. I don't remember that one, but it wasn't a Disney film, so it certainly could happen.
Yeah.
The mouse has a gun, but the gun doesn't have bullets.
Oh, God.
Ain't that right, Minnie?
The early mouse would have had bullets. So, we start off pretty much Pip being like, shit, I've got to get up, can't get up.
I do love the image of, like, when she focuses her eyes on Calamity, he's literally, like, wheeling
upside down, his leg is like, going at it.
Oh, shit. I like that image. I mean, I know it's perilous and...
It is. I guess it's supposed to be both because I think kkat has a little bit of enjoyment with it as well.
And once again, so Pip sees Calamity struggling, can't see Velvet breathing, and so she uses the last ounce of her magical energy to undo the clasp that's holding Calamity in. And then once again, she blacks out. Which I'm starting to think that kkat just writes it so that Pip blacks out when she doesn't want to write the boring stuff.
She did talk about, she actually did talk about it at a time, how she writes in the inner pony monologue as a method of portraying what the character is thinking in a way that is natural. The little pony in my head said this. Because she was saying it's very, very difficult to write out a long-form story in a perfectly first-person perspective, because you have to find some way to slow down certain events.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to be rapid fire of thought. Or you can, do it verbose and end up like Ulysses.
Yeah.
Which nobody wants to read.
I do love James Joyce, but Ulysses is just one long train of thought. It's like, for God's sakes, a period or a comma. A period or a comma. Please, something. Anything to break up the tedium of this.
Now, if somebody wants to create a side fic based... like in the Ulysses style for Fallout Equestria, that would be hilarious.
Now, my favorite author was Kurt Vonnegut, so if somebody wanted to write a Fallout, or rather a spin-off story Well, it would work because
I know.
he was a big science fiction writer. But I loved his short chapter. Like, you feel really accomplished with Kurt Vonnegut. You're like, I read 10 chapters in 30 minutes. It's because, like, the chapters are like 2 pages.
Ah, the early Fallout Equestria. I don't know what I was talking about. There's so few chapters in here, and they're really short.
We have not seen these days for quite some time.
Yes.
So, blah, blah, blah. Time goes by. Pip's having a fever dream, lying on a hard floor again.
Well, yeah,
It's like college.
She passes out, and just starts going back over the story. Because this is, as kkat pointed out in the last, in the comments of the last video, this is the last part of the 4th book, which is the second to last book.
I don't care if it's the first act of Henry V.
God damn it.
Sorry.
You had to. So she's kind of going back over not only what happened in the book, but also what happens at the beginning of the story. Kind of her little Pip leaving the stable and going out on her own. But she does wake up very similarly to when she woke up in Steelhoof's cabin.
Yep. She wakes up to the sound of her friends.
Pretty much having some jokes. Which is different than the last time she woke up in a shack, which was...
Essentially what it is they're trying to reboot Steelhoof's power armor.
Mm-hmm.
Calamity's trying to reboot Steelhoof's power armor.
Mm-hmm. Which is
Calamity's trying to reboot...
Which is actually the same as last time.
Yeah.
But
tone
is a lot better.
Zenith is also there.
And she's like, we could pose him.
Is it bad that I want to put him in poses? He does not know the way. Sorry, that name is weeks old now.
I think dropping it every once in a while is okay. It's just constantly relying on it.
So you're saying, little one, you do not know the way?
Oh, God.
My queen, you do not know the way?
For the amount of actual foresight with kkat that kkat had with the story, with not only My Little Pony, but really what comes into Fallout, which we'll touch at the end of the chapter. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere Zenith had actually said, "You do not know the way."
Oh my gosh!
It's weird. kkat confirmed as time traveler. Pip awakens once again from overexertion, and Zenith comes in and checks on her. Dr. Zenith. Well, she does.
Paging Dr. Zenith. Paging Dr. Zenith. You are needed in the OR.
Oh, I just had a flashback. Oh, the Roger Corman version of the Fantastic Four had the same audio snippet from in the hospital that they used in Soul Taker. I have no idea why I just realized that. Or I remembered that. I realized that when I heard it. It's really weird. So, Pip is very, very ill. She needs a lot of time to recover, and she's like, no, I've got to get going. I've got to push myself harder. I have to become the self-sacrificial, self-abusive character archetype. And Zenith is like, what the hell are you talking about? This is way too meta for my tastes. Stay the fuck put. So, that's pretty much the conversation that they had.
Yeah. Pip's also not doing so good.
No.
Not feeling so well.
No. But she is thinking about the plan that she set up, trying to figure out if there was anything that she remembered about what her role in all this is. Because she told everyone else, but she didn't tell herself anything. Like, she left. She was thinking of whether she left some notes, but she couldn't quite remember.
She told everyone individually what their part in the plan was, but only their part.
Yeah.
And then she realizes that the brilliance of it is Trixie cannot read the minds of zebras.
Racism. Which I don't know how that works. So
Or zebra magic?
Maybe. I don't think that zebras would... I don't think that every single zebra would proactively apply telepathic mind-reading magics to themselves whenever possible. But I could be wrong.
So what you're saying is this is a plot convenience.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it could just be that it never comes to fruition in that way. But she realizes that she may have left herself some notes on her pip book.
Yeah.
But because she never went through and actually checked for notes. But she also realizes that it's...
Nope, it's just a lot of crude text-based drawings of
It's her own. It's actually her own slash fix between herself and Homage.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. It's pictures of Homage's genitalia, but with like @ signs and 2s and slashes.
ASCII porn.
And then the Kirby table flip at the end.
I do not need any type of references to that material. No. I know somebody was thinking, I wonder. Don't just don't save yourself.
Ask and ye shall receive.
That's not how that works. So they work on Steel Hooves to get him better, and she talks a little bit about the death of Zecora, and how Zecora was actually a spy, and he never knew.
Yeah.
Neither did Applejack. Neither of them actually knew until now, and he kind of just withdraws and has to. She's like, oh, Zecora was actually going to go out to try to assassinate.
The Caesar.
The Caesar. Mm-hmm. I'm not pronouncing it that way.
That's just how they pronounce it.
I know. I'm not going to do that. That's dumb.
Okay.
I don't know what.
But they also, Steelhooves makes a comment about how Legatus underneath him would have been even more severe. If
you remember doing the NCR path in New Vegas, at the end you have to fight the Legionnaire. You don't actually fight Caesar.
Yeah.
So it would be the stand-in for that.
You mean you didn't cure Caesar's brain cancer?
Why would I cure?
Maybe I played on the wrong side of that game.
We tried to play on all
These
sides.
guys make a lot of sense. Yeah, enslave them. Yeah, take the people who'd betray us and string them up and make a public. Yeah, the NCR. Boo. Actually, I don't like the NCR either.
Well, no, they're bureaucratic evil versus overt storybook evil. Moving on.
Yes.
Moving back to what we were talking about. She actually passes to sleep again and starts having these visions that are imposed upon her by the book. It starts speaking to her in her dreams. And so she's starting to fall to its influence.
Well, it's basically trying to say, I'm weak, I'm not the right pony. It's like, I can make you the right pony. I don't have the strength of rarity. I can make you stronger than rarity.
I'm not gonna say it.
No, what?
It can show her the way. So
Patu Virakta.
The Ministry Mayors
appear
actually as themselves personified in her dreams
and make a comment about it's different this time.
Yeah,
as if they've been summoned before. Mm-hmm. But they're together because every statuette is a fragment of Rarity's soul. Mm-hmm. So what kind of witchcraft are we coming across here?
The shadows. Think of it as a shadow of somebody from the past.
Yeah.
But the spiritual kind of conscious shadow.
Anyways, they come to defend Pip and protect her from the book. And the book begins to lash out at them. The book tempts Pinkie Pie. Mm-hmm. And even... let's see here, also takes on the form of Red Eye and accuses Pip, look at you, you're becoming more and more like me every day.
And Applejack's like, I don't like him very much. He seems like a talker.
Jesus.
They successfully pull her back out of the book's influence in there. And she wakes up and decides she's going to go look in on Velvet, because Velvet had been passed out. They didn't know whether she was going to come out of a coma from the events.
Yeah.
So she goes and she starts trying to make her way the best she can to where Calamity and Velvet are, and proceeds to do what Pip does best. I actually think she does this best, which is eavesdrop on every single character.
Yep.
Which,
you should just assume she's listening.
Yes. Little Pip is always listening, kids. Always listening.
Like Santa Claus. And the devil.
Santa Claus versus the devil?
Santa Claus and the devil take on God.
Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode, what? So Velvet and Calamity are talking. Calamity's still torn up over what happened at Buckland Cross. Very concerned about what their role in it was and how he feels from it, because he feels like they were raiders, and he constantly goes back to that, and he says, we were bullies, we were the bad guys,
we were bad ponies.
we don't want to be the assholes who stand by and don't do anything. So
Blah, blah,
Chanel,
blah.
shut up.
Velvet gives him a hug.
Yes, and then he pulls away and says, "And now, what about you?
Yeah,
what about what happened?
What did you do?
What the fuck did you do back in the Ministry of Peace, little lady?" Just waltzing straight into a room filled with the pink fog and start... Seriously, what the fuck?
By the way, the pink fog sounds like what an old crooner from the 50s, like their nickname would be.
I figured that's what they would actually call...
Frankie Valli, he was the pink fog.
No, I figured it would actually be what they would call drunkenness. Or like being high
like pink
on...
elephants?
Yeah, well, being high on opiates while being drunk at the same time.
Pink fog, interesting.
Yeah, I figured that would be it. So Pip slides back and rests some more, and we get a little cut. And the next time we see her, they're back in Daybreak, and Ditzy and Silverbell.
We've skipped over a couple things that I do want to touch on. First of all, we haven't mentioned Zephyr talking about her mother.
That comes up a little bit.
It was earlier.
Yeah.
It was earlier. So Pip and Zephyr have a conversation, and Zephyr essentially just asks Pip, and says, "She's my mother. Zenith is my mother, isn't she?" And Pip's like, and she's like, Your non-answer is an answer.
Yeah. Maybe.
And she's like, "I knew it all along, but although I appreciate her help, I do not want her presence here. She does not own herself, and I will not be like my mother." And basically it comes to light. Zephyr describes her father, who was like Bloodhoof, or his name was something like that. He was the leader of their tribe, and apparently an asshole.
Yeah.
And treated Zenith really poorly. And Zephyr's like, no man or man will own me. So,
yeah,
that's how Zephyr got her groove back. But anyways, so that also happened. But we also need to touch on the conversation that Velvet and Calamity has. He brings to light that maybe she doesn't know so much about Fluttershy.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of big.
And he knows.
And
the
she's
thing is,
like,
he does know, but he doesn't want to tell her.
And Velvet's like, "What do I not know about Fluttershy?" And he's like, "Listen, maybe you should consider that there's things about her that Pip hasn't told you to protect you." And that's essentially the answer he gives.
Yeah. It's
And Velvet's not an idiot. She can put it together, but now her brain is probably like, okay, what possibly could she have done that Pip would not have told me? And it's like, oh, I don't know, only the one big giant thing that, ruined everything. That would be kind of big.
Yeah, that was
It's not that she forgot to leave a tip,
Yeah. However, in Fluttershy's mind, that probably would have been worse. Because she still thought up to the end, no, this isn't going to go bad. It's not going to go wrong.
That's great.
Possibly because I can't imagine what would happen to her psyche if she had done that as an act of goodwill, but condemned them all to death and saw the follow up of that actions. What would happen in her mind?
Yeah.
If she had ever come to the realization of that. So
back to the present day.
Yeah. We enter Ditzy and Silverbell as well as a griffin.
What do you call it? A guard?
Talon.
Yeah, a Talon Company merc. But,
Yeah.
But essentially just a guard for the caravan.
Yeah.
It's about damn time.
And that was actually who Calamity was signaling when he was firing the shots at the beginning of the chapter. He was trying to get their attention. But she says hello to Ditzy and hello Silverbell. And Silverbell had made her a little drawing, speaking of little drawings of genitalia.
Yeah, Silverbell's looking surprisingly healthy, even keeled. It's good that she's spending some time with Ditzy.
Yeah, and Ditzy has a series of chalkboards to communicate, and asks Velvet if she can heal bone.
Right. I will say I love that Pip really cares about Ditzy, but there's still things about Ditzy that are very unsettling.
When the eye just
rolls
floats up.
She smiles at you, and the eye rolls into the back of her head.
It's great. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, they heal Velvet heals Silverbell's horn, but she doesn't know whether or not the magic will come back, because it's more like an antenna, and what Silverbell may have done was damage the components inside.
Yeah. Time will tell.
But yeah, it's when
Here's
Konami
that Silverbell novel, that spin-off that everybody wants, where she gets her magic back, but only when she believes in herself. And Pinkie Pie still talks to her.
Yeah.
That'd be a great book.
Now we have another cut as the gang is heading to Maripony, if I'm not mistaken.
We're off on the road to Maripony.
And they're actually going fairly low around the forests that are on fire, the Everfree Forest. And
That Red Eye's set ablaze.
the Red Eye setting ablaze, burning through, and notices these two groups of raiders attacking each other.
Yep.
Small groups, 1-3 and 1-4, attacking each other. And Calamity says, Raiders, didn't we clear this area? What did they do? Respawn? And it's like, ugh. Ugh. Gotta put that in there.
The gamification.
So yeah, they find out that one of the groups of the Raiders is just actually they're from a nearby settlement that had been attacked by the other set of Raiders.
And the way we get to that is they first of all try and separate them and try and say, "What are you fighting for?" You know,
Yeah.
Velvet throws up
Hey,
a shield, and one of the
what
groups,
do you got that's worth fighting for?
Yeah, and then Velvet, not Velvet, Velvet separates them, and they're flying, circling in the air, and then one of the groups of Raiders starts firing at the Skywagon.
Mm-hmm.
Skywagon, right?
Sky Bandit.
Sky Bandit. Okay.
Sky Bandito.
Yes. And they're like, "Hey, stop it! Seriously, cut it out!" And the Raiders keep chucking grenades and stuff at them, and it's like,
Hey, stop! And then
all right.
Steelhose comes up and says, "Stop."
Yeah, blam, blam, blam. But during this altercation, Pip gets tempted by the book again.
To use a blood blade.
Blood magic, yeah.
Yeah. It actually attempts to form a blood blade out of one of the raiders that had fallen.
Mm-hmm.
It was like,
Holy
shit, no.
Even begins to pick up the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like it begins
to form
to hum,
it.
yeah.
Quite disturbing, quite dark. But inevitably they find out that one group had come from a settlement called the Republic,
Yep.
which the other one had been,
The Republic has been wiped out.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
and they were the last
So
of them.
they were fighting, it was for revenge.
And the Raiders had taken all of the children, foals of the Republic, back to their own hiding place that we learn is in Fluttershy's
To torture, to eat, to, do whatever.
Now, the other ones are actually big fans of Little Pip. Not directly Little Pip, but who they think Little Pip is. So,
Savior of the Wasteland.
The Savior of the Wasteland. Have you guys seen her? She's great.
The Lone Wander Mare.
The Stable Dweller. The Kuramare. The Chosen Pun.
Oh, God. That's too much.
Where we get the lovely line, Pegasuses are cool. Pegasi. Yeah, those two.
Yeah. But anyway, so they go to the Raider encampment. They arm these colts and ponies, and they fight to save the other...
The children.
Yeah, the children. Yeah. And, of course, Velvet goes insane.
Yeah,
she's making note of, because this is Fluttershy's home. This was her zoo. This is where she had all her animal friends.
To describe, they took Fluttershy's bed, they set it on fire, used it as a toilet, and kept skulls hanging on it.
All of her old animal friends are like...
hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. So the shotgun surgeon goes insane and literally is like blowing people's faces
off. What the fuck is wrong with you? Bang!
Yeah, blam.
And it just like starts taking like she doesn't kill them at first. Like what she does the first one, she legs. She like kneecaps them with a shotgun and then says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And when the other one steps up, it's like, "I don't have time for you."
Blam.
Shoots.
Yeah. Blam.
Just straight through the chest. It's like, shit. And she says, I have not yet killed a single pony in the wasteland, and as far as I'm concerned, I still haven't." It's like, fuck.
They are not people to her.
Which is funny because she would stabilize and paralyze a Deathclaw equivalent, the Hellhound, but she'll outright fucking brutalize and just...
But you know what's funny is when we found her, she was helping slavers that are essentially, they're just raiders.
It's Fluttershy. It's the Fluttershy connection which does it.
I guess so.
That's what makes the difference. I mean, think about why she went nutso in the Ministry of Peace. It's all that.
It's always how it is, man. It's crazy chicks. The prettier they are, the crazier they can be.
You gotta watch those eyes.
The 1,000-yard stare.
Okay, so skip forward a little bit. They rescue the children.
Yep. The children.
Won't anyone think of the children?
I can't stop thinking about the children. Wait.
I wouldn't admit that.
Yeah.
So
Pip's plan essentially though is to be blindfolded and taken directly to the goddess.
yeah.
And Calamity's like, I want no part of that. Wait, but you kind of have to take me.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So he flies her up, and almost instantly, once she's in range, the goddess starts speaking to her.
Broadcasting to her.
And
her
the plan is just to be blindfolded, go in and stall. Just stall for time, and she'll know the sign when it happens. Which is kind of a reference to the games where whenever a side quest completes or a mission completes, even if it's kind of not in your direct control, you'll get a pop-up that says, "Hey, by the way, it's done." Whatever that may be. So she goes and starts talking to the goddess, and the goddess is like, "What all did you see in Canterlot?" And she's like, "Oh boy, you want stall? We can stall." Apparently spends hours recounting the events of Canterlot.
In excruciating detail.
And then suddenly gets a message that the bomb has been planted. Which means you have to find it before the terrorists win.
Yeah. And suddenly things are starting to come into focus. Wait a minute. The bomb?
What bomb? Oh, shit.
Wait, you mean the bomb Red Eyes had? Wait a minute. How did I get Red Eyes to give me the bomb? That was a hell of a lot of party time mentats.
One of the things is like, wait, bomb? Bomb? The only bomb I know about is a balefire bomb. What do you mean it's right under me? Holy shit!
Well, and when you think about it, seriously, you have to have been pretty convincing to get Red Eyes to give up the bomb.
Yeah.
Which also explains why Red Eyes left Tin Pony Tower.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a bomb to blow him up anymore.
Yep.
But remember, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and his greatest foe, the only person he saw who could oppose him...
The only viable threat in his mind would have been the goddess.
The goddess. Although there is one more faction floating out there.
Well, now they're here now. Right as she's about to leave, she turns and runs.
Wait. Right as she's about to blow the place to Kingdom Come.
Well, it's right as she's coming around and turns around, and then suddenly, "Hi, we're the Enclave." Hi, guys.
Oh, god dang it. It's like, and after all this in the story, you're like, finally a victory. Boom.
Wrong!
Well, in Trixie, there is the capability to seal up where she is to protect them.
There's a secure room. There's a secure room that's actually in the facility that's in that room.
It basically means that bomb would be a waste.
Well, what it is it's a small room to the side.
Yeah.
It was what Twilight Sparkle was referring to in the earlier recording.
Yeah.
Where she was talking about how the shutters didn't close on her secure room, so it's still open. But what happens is, through some finagling, she and one of the other Enclave Pegasi move their way into the secure room, and Pegasi's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And she's like, "Bomb!" She's like, "What do you mean? Bomb! What part of bomb do you people don't understand?" But
you
realizes...
dropped a bomb on me.
And while this counter is just counting down, she's like, "Wait, hold on, I'm in the secure room now." So she takes the panel off the wall, slams down magically the button that closes the whole thing up, to pretty much to seal herself and one of the Enclave soldiers inside. And the Enclave soldier's like, "What the hell did you do? What the hell's going on?" I love one of the lines as well, where the goddess is mentally like broadcasting, "Run, my children, run away from here." And the Enclave's like, "You have nothing to run from. We're here as your benefit. We want an allegiance." Like, the hell of allegiance you're about to get.
Yeah, no kidding. So I guess I misunderstood in the chapter. I thought that they were all sealed up in that space. So what you're saying, it was only Pip and one other Enclave soldier that got sealed up?
If I remember right, yeah, it's actually a small room to the side.
Gotcha. I was under the impression that they all were going to survive, but I guess that was misunderstanding on my part.
Yeah, they wouldn't. She wouldn't have done that. Yeah, because it's kind of implied in the previous recording.
But anyways, the last thing we hear is a radio transmission from DJ Pony.
which is overwritten by a large broadcast that just completely washes all the channels and says, "Attention, the Commonwealth! This is the Brotherhood of Steel." Oh wait, no, that's the game.
Yeah.
That came out afterwards. No,
Yeah,
it's the Enclave.
Well, but we should mention that DJ Pony speaks about the explosion, so we know the explosion happened. And then it is overtaken by the Enclave, and essentially like, have no fear, we are here to save the wasteland.
Oh, Christ.
God dang it. That line earlier of Pegasuses are cool, and then they're corrected Pegasi.
Those two.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great. So yeah, no, I that's what always got me when I was playing the game and I saw the blimp go overhead. I was like, shit, it's the Enclave. Wait, why am I playing Fallout Equestria?
Yeah.
And then he says the Brotherhood of Steel, and I'm like, well, this is wrong.
Do you think Fallout 4 would have been improved by having the Enclave there?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
You've already got 5 faction. Why not?
I know it kind of would have retconned their own like storyline to make the Enclave powerful again after you kind of wiped them out, but still.
Technically, there is one Enclave soldier in the game.
Yeah.
But not really.
Not really.
He doesn't really count. Plus, he's part of that Children of Adam cult. Children of Adam West. Ah, goodness. Well, that's the chapter. So we've reached a familiar time in the show. One might say that it's the best part of the show.
I think that's only you.
I think everyone here can agree
that it's only you.
It's the only reason for watching the show. Of course, I'm speaking of the Pony Pun of the Week.
You whispered into that, but
the Pony Pun of the Week!
Okay, so there you go. Now everyone can hear you.
People in China can hear me. They don't know what I'm saying, but... And that's the only way they can hear me, because since YouTube from America is probably blocked in China, they can't watch this.
Oh, see? You know.
Yeah.
So, what is the Pony Pun of the Week?
Oh, I get to read it?
Yes.
All right. The Pony Pun of the Week, Christopher, is Frog Got Your Tongue?
Frog Got Your Tongue.
Which I guess is a portmanteau. Is that the appropriate term? On a horse's hoof, there's a little indent that looks like this. That's called the frog. So instead of the cat got your tongue, it's the frog got your tongue. And also like frog in your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of combines all of that into frog got your tongue. You know, it's funny, when I worked with horses, you actually occasionally have to trim those.
Yeah.
But it's a very sensitive sort of a place. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't know why I keep doing this. This is not.
I don't know why, but one night at work, I was just like, I don't have anything else to do. I'm gonna look up YouTube videos, and one of the ones I watched was how to trim a horse's hoof.
Horse's hoof. When I was younger, I toyed with the idea of becoming a farrier, and that's where you trim horses' hooves and you actually put on the shoes and you take care of them. Because I used to, when working with horses, used to clean their hooves and have to work with them.
You didn't have any nice horses.
What's that?
You didn't have any nice horses.
Yeah, we had one or two, but most of them were abused, and so they had attitude problems. So, they were sweet in their own way.
Oh yeah. So we have a few questions from the last episode.
Yeah, and since we have the live chat up, we may have more questions, but we'll go ahead and hop into it first. So, Omega says, how do you think the story of Fallout Equestria would change if instead of a war against zebras, there was a war against changelings?
It would end very weirdly, not how it ended, obviously, with the zebras, because it wouldn't come down to... I don't think it would come down to an ultimatum in that regard. I think it would come down to a little more guile, a little more wit. What would end up happening, you'd actually get a different kind of dystopian future where... I think what would end up happening is that the Equestria would be so concerned, because changelings are these creatures that take shape of someone else.
Yeah.
And they can actually magically take shape of anyone specifically. Things like skinwalkers, except
that's a problem.
Yeah. So Equestria would actually in turn focus its efforts on watching and monitoring every individual for the effort of de-changelingification. And so
they would probably develop something that would be safe to... Let me put it this way. Like, I would imagine these, like, quote-unquote decontamination fields. Mm-hmm. Like, anytime you enter a building, that it would be like a spell that forces changelings to change.
Yeah, but, I mean, really, it would also turn... But it would turn, like, the entire thing into a despot society where every single pony is monitored.
Like East Germany.
Yeah,
literally the secret police. Everyone's the secret police.
Everyone's the secret police, and so everyone's constantly watching each other. There's massive amounts of paranoia.
Are there changelings in the My Little Pony universe?
Yes.
Okay.
We
haven't come across one.
No, they happened after the book.
Gotcha.
They were actually
it makes sense. So remember, everything in My Little Pony is kind of based off the Dungeons and Dragons universe, that level of fantasy, and there definitely are changelings in there. So if you think about it, let's see here.
Yeah, she made Zebra as demi-changeling as Equestria was monitoring own citizens for spies. Yeah, I just mean like that to the nth degree, so it ended up looking like a dystopian despot society where everyone's paranoid constantly all the time. It would look like 1984. KKat is from the future. Yes.
That's a very good question, Omega. Thank you very much.
Next to Spliff, have you ever eaten a pineapple, regurgitated it, then threw the regurgitated pineapple at the wall? No, I've never actually thrown pineapple at the wall, so I guess that would just prevent it entirely.
Does a mango count?
Maybe that would be up to him, but I mean, if you have experience regurgitating and then throwing a mango against a wall, that would be good for the...
Yeah. I mean, not a pineapple, though. If we're being very specific, no, I have not done that with a pineapple.
No. And then...
Thanks for the question.
Wason, or as I prefer to pronounce it, Wasson.
Wasson?
Even though he explicitly, verbosely described the pronunciation last time.
But it's our show, so we get to say how we're going.
Names are things other people choose for you. Awesome. My question this week is mostly to Chris. Is there any element from the show that you wish to be included in Fallout Equestria? At the time, there was absolutely nothing. I think kkat did an absolutely perfect distillation of what the show was, completely. Since, not really. I'm going to be honest. I feel like you could include the other characters and locations as kind of just pop-ins, but they wouldn't really add anything to the story. And I don't really feel like it would make anything better. Like, even the fact that Twilight's an alicorn now still would allow for the things that happened to happen. In fact, it would actually make it more of what happened, because then Twilight would be even more concerned with recreating the alicorn process, because she would know firsthand the power it holds. But at her end, when she was taken by Trixie, she was stuck underground in a completely and totally enclosed facility that she couldn't escape. So she could still be an alicorn in the story. There's literally nothing that I can think of that prevents that from happening.
Yeah.
As far as the Changeling Empire, the Crystal Empire and the Changelings, the Changelings would have changed things during the war. It depends on what kind of role they would want to play if they were to try to play it. Something tells me that early on they would try to play both sides against each other, and then very obviously they would be found quickly and probably stomped out by both sides. So they would just pretty much be eradicated very, very, very early on in the war. The Crystal Empire, that would have been interesting, because it effectively acts as a fallback point for Equestria, but it could still be hit by a mega spell if you have intercontinental ballistic technologies, which apparently the Zebras had. I don't know exactly if we're considering that the world is actually flat around, or how that you want to define the My Little Pony universe. I guess kkat does do the round one, so it would be intercontinental. So yeah, I think that kkat does a great job of including the show. Fallout elements she does great with. I can't think of anything from Fallout either. Can you think of anything from Fallout that you'd appreciate that's missed? Kind of a story element.
Missing. I don't know. That's interesting. That's hard to think about.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about something specifically that was missing.
Yeah.
We even have an animal companion.
Yep.
So, all right. Joshua Stovall says, Robert, what is your favorite chapter so far? The battle with Mr. Topaz is probably... That's an exciting chapter. I mean, there's tons since then, but that one really stands out in my head. Also, just dragons in general. Getting to meet Spike was a really cool chapter. That was a world-building kind of a chapter, but it was really meaningful. So, and we have not heard from Watcher in a long time.
Yep.
Which is interesting, because he's really important in the first couple of books.
He sees how things are playing out, and he feels not to. Because Watcher's whole thing is he moves through a deft touch.
Yes. If this is Star Wars, Watcher is Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan dies after the first film.
But he still imposes a certain amount of force.
A little bit, just a little bit here and there.
You must go to the Dagobah system.
There you will find a strange green man. He will eat many of your cookies.
Unfortunate part if Lucas was still in charge, I hate to say, he would probably have CGI'd out him with Ian McGregor. It would have happened, which is wrong.
Spike is Chewbacca? I don't think so.
Spike didn't die from when saving Ben Solo on the surface of the moon, because Disney can go itself with the canon. So
all right, so you've wasted another perfect 40 minutes watching us. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you can find us on our Facebook page.
We already did the credits.
We didn't do all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we just talked about where you could download the podcast, which again you can find on Google. You can find on Google Play or the iTunes Music Store. You can find us on Twitter @CriscoCast. You can also email us at cbpbch@gmail.com. Again, cbpbch@gmail.com.
And we will be doing a live after show after this. Not immediately, but we will be doing one in a bit.
So yeah, we're doing something interesting today. It's actually going to be a live stream with a fan. So 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back. Just kind of hanging out, talking about the book.
Which we're at -5 right now, right? What with the daylight savings time?
Something like that.
Are the -5 right?
If you punch it into your computer wherever you are in the world, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will tell you what it's your time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's -5.
I know it's elitist, but that's the time where we are and we know it, so it's just easier to just tell you exactly what time it will be.
Mm.
All right.
That's why I say -5, because -5 people usually go, "What's -5?" And I'm like, "Do you not understand Greenwich Mean Time?"
It's a negative integer. Yeah, most people don't understand Greenwich Mean Time. So, thank you for tuning in. For Chris, I'm Robert, and this has been The Foally of Man. And we will see y'all next week. Bye.